Well, hello and welcome. Very good afternoon. Welcome to the March edition of the Partner Playback webinar. As always, thank you for giving up your time to join us today. My name is Lee Houston. I'm Head of Product here at Zen, although my role today is very much one of host and comper. So this is a live webinar. I've got access to the Q&A, so throughout the discussion, if you've got any questions, then please feel free to pop them in the chat and we'll do our best to get to them towards the end of the session. I've been joined by a couple of colleagues today. So on my left, I've got Paul North, who's the Managing Director of our partner division. No doubt you'll know Paul now. I've also been joined by Dan, who's a face you might not have seen before. So Dan heads up partner services at Zen, so kind of operations and order management and the likes. And over in our satellite studio, is actually just over there, we've got Mark Howarth, who heads up trading and partner experience at Zen. So he's going to give us a little bit of an update later on. So I'm going to turn to you first, Paul, if that's all right. Gives us a bit of a roundup of all things that have been happening in the partner division.
Of course. Thank you very much for the introduction, Lee. And thank you everyone as well for taking the time to join today. Really appreciate it. So this is my second partner playback since joining the business back in October last year. And I think just wanted to give you a bit of an update in terms of what's happened in the last few months. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what the future looks like for our product portfolio. So if I talk through a little bit in terms of broadband, so we have seen some incredible growth on broadband in the last 3 months. And this has been mostly driven by the product mix across alternative network providers. So we had our record-breaking month for Truly and City Fibre in the last 2 months. And that is now representing quite a significant percent of our entire broadband volume that we do. So thank you to everyone that has been getting behind those products. I think it's great to see partners benefiting from those unique economics, the slightly different product set, and of course the unique availability as well. Interestingly, we have also seen a big increase in demand for high bandwidth services. That's across the likes of City Fibre, Truly, Freedom Fibre, but also on Openreach as well. You know, we're still one of the only wholesalers to offer the 1.2 and 1.8 gig product to our channel partners. And in February, we actually broke just over 10%, so 10.5% of all of our broadband orders were on those high bandwidth products. So great to see the demand for those out in the market and great to see partners pushing it. So again, thank you for the commitment there. I think on the altnet front as well, just to round up on broadband, when I joined the business, I spoke about how we wanted to support you to make the most of the opportunity. You know, there's this window of time over the next 3 years to really stake a claim in the FTTP market. So I'm delighted to share that we onboarded a company called Market Location in the last 6 weeks. So these are a data provider that we are working with who are able to support our partners with enriched marketable data across not only our altnet footprint, but also our wider Openreach footprint and Ethernet as well. So that's quite a recent thing, but already in the last couple of weeks, we started to engage with 8 partners that we will be targeting specific geographies and customer sectors across the UK, across Truly and Freedom Fibre. If you'd like to know more about that, I'd really encourage you to reach out to your account manager. As I say, there is this window of time, and this year is that really pivotal year for businesses to move to FTTP and EO-FTTP. We fund this data on behalf of the partner, so we'll work with you to understand your ideal customer profile, the local geographies you like to work within, and we'll help to kind of shape a campaign there, working alongside our marketing team. We've also, as well, recently supporting kind of creating some co-branded collateral to target some business parks. So there's a huge amount of appetite from the likes of City Fibre and Freedom Fibre to build out to business parks. Traditionally, the altnet infrastructure is residential led, just because there's bigger numbers, and the nature of that is that the businesses passed typically are in high streets or kind of just in outside residential areas. But what we're now seeing, particularly from, as I say, Freedom Fibre and City Fibre, is this expanding their build into businesses that can take those higher bandwidth products, the products with more higher service level agreements on them. And actually, we'll go on to talk about that and what we're doing with Freedom Fibre shortly. On the Ethernet side, we had our best ever month last month, so really happy about that. Thank you very much to everyone that's been backing us with Ethernet. I think that was broadly driven by the fact that we supported a number of partners with multi-site opportunities. So again, we have a lot of technical experts within Zen, and you're able to leverage our pre-sales resource, our network resource when looking at those multi-site bids in that kind of mid-market and enterprise space. And then finally, we've actually been seeing quite a lot of demand for our Zen Cloud product. This is one of our lesser known products within the portfolio today. But I think because of some of the market shifts that we've seen happening across Broadcom, we're seeing more inquiries for that. So that is our own product being built in-house by our experts here. Again, we have a huge team behind it, lots of great collateral. So, if you're considering moving services into the cloud, moving away from data centers, or just have general hosting requirements, we'd love to talk to you more about that. I think that's a big growth area for us this year. So that's quite a product-heavy update, which probably leads us quite nicely on to now talking a little bit about what we've been doing in the portfolio in the last few months, and importantly, what we've got planned for the next 3 to 6 months. So, Lee, what's been going on?
Right, thanks, Paul. Why don't we start with Ethernet, considering that was prior to the Zen Cloud, that was where you finished. So I think if we reflect back slightly to where we were 12 months ago, the carriers that we had in the portal compared to where we are today. So we spent a lot of time, our focus rather was to enable our partners to have access to the most providers, a bigger range of suppliers and footprint as a result of that. So we worked really hard. We brought ITS into the portal, we brought Sky into the portal, and you will have probably seen the notifications that City Fibre has just gone live as of last week.
Yeah, last week.
And I suppose so linked to that, we've gone live with some incentives on the Flex product. So those incentives, you've got access to the collateral already, but if you're unsure, you should speak to your account manager. But we've got some, I suppose the Flex is an interesting product because it mirrors some of the products that like ITS have launched. Yeah. So it's this kind of guaranteed bandwidth that bursts when the capacity is available. So City Fibre is a good place to start. Then we'll move on to what we've done from an OpenReach perspective. So should we chat about zonal pricing?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. So I think this is one that I've been really excited to see. So for those who may or may not be aware, OpenReach have unique pricing available in areas with heavy competition. So particularly the central London area and also in what they call HNR, the high national reach areas.
High network reach.
High network reach, yeah, thank you. So that's the kind of metropolitan cities across the UK.
Yeah,
so
you think your Liverpools, your Birmingham, your Glasgow, your Manchesters.
Yeah. So up until now, we've not been able to pass that discount through, or be able to kind of consume it and pass it through the LLQT. But we've actually been working really hard to launch that, and that's now live as of last week.
Yeah, so that's in the portal. So that will give you, depending on what bandwidth you take, it will give you anywhere between £300 and £500 per year discount on your EAD.
Yeah.
Right.
So what's coming up?
So I think if we stick with Ethernet for a second, as I say, our focus over the last 12 months has been to enable partners with a greater range of providers. Our focus for the next 12 months and beyond is to completely overhaul what we do in terms of our Ethernet proposition. And by that, I mean allowing partners to completely self-serve. So as it stands today, we know that some of our partners are desperate to be able to quote Ethernet via APIs.
Yep.
Can't do that today. That's on our roadmap. So we're going to aim to deliver that this year. So that's the first thing. The other is just greater self-service capability. So there's feedback that we've received time and time again from our partners that they want to be able to track updates within the LLQT, within the Fibre Hub. They want to be able to make amendments and stuff to the services they have in flight. So that's going to be there. So the shift is going to focus this year from new carriers, although there will be some, to functionality within the portal.
Yeah, that's really good. And I'm personally really excited about it because I think joining the business, I think we are incredibly efficient at broadband. It's in terms of the Fibre Hub and the self-serve capability. And I think, we're really on point in terms of the commercials on Ethernet. And I think the enhancements we've made in terms of that choice and the availability in the LLQT has been great. So I'm really excited to see us level up that self-serve capability as well. And that be as efficient as broadband to make it really super easy.
Yeah, me too. And look, we hear the feedback loud and clear. So a reminder that the feedback that you provide us is really vital and it influences our roadmap significantly. So please continue to feed that through to your account manager. You've got my details too. So I'm always keen to hear what partners want. So that's Ethernet. Should we move on to the world of altnets?
Altnets, yeah. So everyone's always excited to hear what we've got coming next in terms of the next altnet or the next product. So.
Sure. So let's Freedom Fibre we made live in the Fibre Hub last year. However, we haven't as of yet given access to the full business footprint. So that's the first thing. So within the next month or so, you'll have access to an RFS in the region.
9,500.
Yeah. So that's for the partners of ours that operate in those Freedom Fibre footprints will give you a massive advantage compared to your competitors. So that's next on the roadmap. closely followed by access to the MS3 network. So we signed the agreement with MS3 last year, worked really hard to get that live in our sort of consumer part of the business. Plan now is to get that live into the Fibre Hub.
Yeah, and I think what's been really interesting is just seeing the success we've had in the consumer division. So I think we launched it just before Christmas, so we had kind of a couple of months to go at it now, and actually it's outperforming some of our other altnets that we've had in there for over a year. And I think that goes to that the old adage of, it's been that monopoly within Hull for a long time, so opening that up. So, and again, was really impressed by the fact that 11,500 businesses on MS3 that were available, not just in Hull but in that wider area as well.
Hull, Humber, surrounding areas. The other thing that excites me about MS3 is their Ethernet capability as well. So we know there are 11,000 RFS. We know there are a lot of businesses in that region. So we will also, as well as giving access to their FTTP, Ethernet is on the roadmap to add that into the Fibre Hub and LLQ2 as well.
Yeah, excellent. And then where are we currently at with 10 gig? What are your thoughts on the 10 gig side? I know we're doing that manually at the moment for partners.
Yeah, we are. So as always, if you do have an opportunity where a customer wants a 10 gig bearer, then come speak to us. Our intention is to get that into the portal so you can quote for that yourselves without having to come to us. So that's on the roadmap too. We're probably a few months away from having that in there, but we'll keep you updated.
Excellent.
Then the last thing I wanted to talk about in terms of product is this concept of, I don't know, base migrations or easy switching or something. So this is again, this is feedback we've heard from you. We know there are a number of our partners that have bases with other providers that they're desperate to move to Zen, but they don't have the resource or the ability to go out and change, reconfigure devices and update username credentials and stuff. So we have already started the work and the development on the ability to support you to change in the way the circuit authenticates that doesn't require the username and password. So look, we're really keen. If you have bases with another provider that you would like to move to Zen, then start the conversation with your account manager now, because we're about to engage into some conversations with partners that have flagged this as an opportunity for them. And over the next coming months, as we're hoping to launch that as a full proposition, so to make it far easier for providers to move their bases across. Yeah,
I'm really excited about that one.
You and me both.
Yeah, and I think on that point as well, I know you and I spoke recently about the Ethernet again is such a big part of our strategy for this year, and I think it's really encouraging the portfolio team to be speaking to our partners as well. So if there's partners that would like to get half an hour with like Lauren, who's in your team as one of our Ethernet product managers, or one of the other product managers as well, I think that's something that we'd really like to see partners engage with us more on as well. I think,
yeah, for sure. Look, my team are as open as they can be, and they are keen as anything to speak to our partners. So we, I said before, we want your feedback. It influences our roadmap and how we develop product in the future. So yeah, please speak to your account manager. Let's get a call set up with Lauren on Ethernet, Jake on broadband. Myself, I'm happy to have a meeting and discuss all things product as well.
Yeah, great. And I think probably well timed to mention the fact that we've just announced our annual partner event, and you and your team will be there. And I think as part of that, not to steal the thunder of what we'll be doing at that event, but there will be a number of breakout sessions, and one of those will be very much focused on product portfolio and the future of our strategy over the next 3 years. So looking forward to that.
Right, still waiting for my invite, but I assume one will come in the post. So I think that's all things product. So I'm going to hand over to yourself, Dan, if that's all right. Give us an update on all things in your world.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lee. And thanks for inviting me along. It's great to be here and share an update on service management. So I just want to cover a couple of points, what we've been doing in service management over the last few months. And specifically, I'm going to start with the back end of last year. We know that was a challenging time, and we know at the time, we was having some challenges with SLAs and meeting our reviews. But since then, we've been doing a lot of work on how do we rectify that. And part of that has been bringing in additional people into the team. So over the last few weeks, we've been actively recruiting a number of people who've had previous experience in the industry. And they've now fully onboarded. They've come through our recruitment and our training plans, and they're now live now. So that increases our headcount within the team by 4 additional people. So if you're contacting us or you're getting updates on your reviews, you'll likely see some new people pop up over the next couple of weeks. And they're having a remarkable impact on the team, which I'll touch on shortly. I think we're not finished there yet, though. So we have got some more recruitment activity ongoing. So in the next week or two, we'll be getting an additional recruitment activity out to gather an extra head into the team. And that just gives us that capability to handle, Paul, as you said, the mixing footprint, what we're getting, but also continue building that service, what we want to deliver. In terms of where we're at and how that's at, there's positives. We're seeing a positive trend in terms of the metrics I track. So if I look at most importantly, our reviews out of SLA, same with our emails, we are seeing a downtrend on those, and we're hitting those milestones as you'd expect us to. The other piece, what we're seeing very positively, is our contact rates. So across our PCAs and how many calls we're dropping, that is all reducing. So we're answering more calls. Last month, we answered 96% of the calls what came into the team. We're continuing to track that closely.
Great. So it sounds like the additional heads, we've already seen an improvement. And look, we don't avoid the difficult conversations or difficult topics on these, so we know that there were some challenges at the back end of the year, but sounds like we're seeing an improvement.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been very specific with the people we recruited, and that's why we're actually going back out to recruit again. So we wanted to recruit everyone at once. Surely the applicants and the calibre of candidates, what we was after, just didn't meet that requirement. So I've instructed the team, let's go back out again. Let's not just fill, people on seats. Let's get the right people. So we're definitely seeing the calibre of what they've come in. They've hit the ground running. We've taught them our systems, but they've got that background in the industry, in provisioning journeys, and they're adding that real value for us.
Great. And I'm just interested, Dan, we've launched multiple new providers to our partners over the past 12 months. How's that impacted your teams and the service that we're delivering?
Yeah, I think we're working closely with the providers. I think there's still some work to do. Obviously, we're all used to the level and the processes what OpenReach deliver. Our providers, are doing things slightly differently, rightfully so. But we are still working with them and partner experience and kind of Andean industry of how do we slightly just align some of their processes and possibly mature them as well. But we're seeing, some real positives, truly really good to work with. And we're seeing that come through in partner feedback, how we're delivering those services. So it's really exciting that we've got that mix now.
Brilliant. And talk to me about live chat.
Yes, live chat. So live chat's an interesting one. We're seeing massive demand in live chat. So over the last 12 months, we've seen about 118% growth in live chat overall. Now, it isn't the preferred contact mix yet. We're still seeing calls heavily skewed of kind of what partners are preferring. But more and more partners each day are starting to use live chat. So what we've done, again, the last few weeks, as we've brought people on, it's allowed us a bit more capacity, is to open up the skills of live chat. So historically, it was kind of very ring-fenced to a smaller team, but we've now expanded that. We've doubled it. So we've now got 7 people in the team who can jump on live chat, cover, and we're giving more focus on chat as well. So chat's answered and chat time, chat wait time, that's more of a primary focus now than it has been historically.
Great. And the plan, if I hear you correctly, is to embed that into the Fibre Hub.
Absolutely. So we're not quite there yet. This is a very early conversation, but I was looking at the journey the last couple of weeks of, as a partner, where do you go with live chat? How do you get there? How do you initiate it with us? And it's quite a few clicks. If you've used it, you'll understand. What we absolutely want to do now is start embedding that into the portal. So it sits across our orders pages, our availability pages, repair, etc. And it's just a widget, as you'd expect, where you can just hit and you can start chat, 2 clicks and you're on with one of the team, either in repair or in order management. That is still early days. We are scoping it. We're working out the dev and complexity to it, but absolutely we're keen on getting that done.
Great. Thanks, Dan. I suppose the last thing is just around the updates to appointments and notifications, and sort of I know some partners are keen to get an update on what's happening in that world.
Yeah, I think alongside obviously, the great what you both have talked about in terms of new product, what we've also been focused on within my team specifically and working with our other devs is how do we improve some of this stuff. So in the last kind of 3 months, there's been 30 plus various issues what we've tried to fix. So that's stuff like Lee said around appointing, when we was putting committed dates in, when we was getting KCI updates, etc. It was quite inconsistent and quite tricky to understand from a partner perspective. So what we've done is we've added some better logic into that, and we've made certain fields update at certain times compared to what we have in the past. We still see some of that, so we are still working kind of through those different instances, but it should be markedly more improved than it has been. I think the other bits where we've been big on is kind of improvements to the availability checker, particularly around altnets and how we're floating that information. And again, we want to do more in that space. But probably the largest one, which we're coming to the end of, we just want to get some more confidence in it, is self-serve appointing. So that's been, it's been on and off in confidence from our partners for a while. We've worked with a number of our dev teams, and we're quite comfortable now in how that's flowing through when we're amending appointments with OpenReach, with BT Wholesale. There's a couple of bits what we just need to clean up in the background, and we'll probably do some more comms through partner experience when we're more comfortable with that. But that's been a massive effort from across my team and the dev teams, absolutely, in the last few months. I think now we're kind of polishing some of them bits up. I want to turn my focus into some of our other trickier processes, which our partners see as well, and it causes contact. You need to contact us. So specifically over the next few months, I want to really look into fibre queries process and permission to work process, both of which we kind of add dwell time and delay to.
Great, thank you. So if I was to summarise, we've acknowledged the challenges that we had back end of last year from a resource and demand perspective. We've added some people into the team in order to soften that challenge that we had, and we're also trying to tackle it from a process and development point of view with the enhancement of live chats.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, streamline the chat and contact to us 100%. We'll look to fix the processes we have. PTWs, for instance, we add dwell time to it because it comes to us. And stuff like fibre queries as well. We want to potentially, do like a web form. So we capture everything first time. Instead of 2 or 3 emails back and forth, what we see today. And again, that reduces the time what people need to kind of come and speak to us.
Great, Dan. Thank you very much. A reminder that the chat's open for questions. I can see one in there already. So please, if you do have questions, then fire them into us. And I'm now going to head over to the satellite studio. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you, Lee, and good afternoon, everyone. So just want to give you a little bit of an update on Net Promoter Score. In the last partner playback, I talked about the results and you said we did activity. And we've launched again our next NPS survey that went live on Monday. And will be open until the 31st of March, where we want your feedback. I think Net Promoter Score gives a bit of an enhanced meaning within the channel and with partnership. I think it's a real example of true partnership. So please, if you've received the invite to give your feedback, please do so. And if you haven't, please get in contact with a member of my team who can resend that to you, because it's vitally important. I think it was some of the activities which the gentlemen were talking about earlier in terms of the feedback we need. So if you take Ethernet enhancements, what we want to do is we want to work with partners to understand what features and functionality they want first. And then we can prioritise in our work stack with our devs and give you more bang for your buck within the Ethernet LLQT. Early results on the Net Promoter Score are solid. We're at plus 73. I don't know if it'll stay there. Hopefully it does. It may increase, it may decrease. But what is vital is the number of partners we hear from. We want to hear from partners of all shapes and sizes across the country to really sort of sharpen our pencil when it comes to the experience we provide to you. And that's not just in the provisioning of services with Dan's area and tech support. That can be within our network portfolio. And one of the areas at the moment we're looking to work on is working with Karen and Sarah in our billing and finance team to try and harmonise the billing. I think, with the increase of altnets and the different rate cards that are knocking about, the billing aspect can become quite complicated. We want to try and simplify that. I don't buy into this notion that the partner area or channel just accepts that billing is always an issue. So we want to tackle that head on. And then just some final points before I hand back in terms of the activity the team have been undertaking apart from the harmonisation of billing. So we're doing more and more as the deadline gets there for the WLR migrations. So thank you for working with us on that. I know it's been a challenge. I know it's been a headache for all of us in the industry. But ultimately, we are starting to break that number down now. If you still have a WLR estate, work with your partner experience manager on the reduction of that and what other technologies are available. We've also been working on a number of migration projects as well. So we've had a lot of new partners join us, which is absolutely fantastic. And we've been able to then work with them to get their bases moved over, working with the relevant teams in Dan's area and within our networking team to do that. So there's a lot of positive stuff that's happening at the moment. The weather's changing, so I definitely feel a bit more upbeat for sure. I think that's important to mention. But yeah, and there's one final thing before I hand back. The feedback you give us, try and give us as much as you possibly can. A couple of lines, even get ChatGPT to write it for you if you want. But actually, it's really that feedback is invaluable in helping us shape our propositions, our pricing, and overall the service that we provide to you. So thank you very much, and I'll hand back to the studio to Lee.
Thanks, Mark. He's just sat right here. Thank you. So, look, we've had a couple of questions come through. I think there's 3 in there now. 2 of them are the same thing, and it talks about layer 2 Ethernet. So the question's essentially the same, and that we've not spoken about it for some time. So our position on layer 2 is that it's essentially still under review. So when we look at all of the feedback we receive from partners, we can definitely see that the most impactful would be functionality within the portfolio, within the portal, primarily given access via APIs.
Yes, absolutely. I think in terms of the recent feedback we went through, overwhelming a number of partners wanted that API capability, and some more of that self-serve capability with an Ethernet as well. So I think it really is it's a timing thing. I think that I'd actually really encourage, and it's interesting we had 2 questions come through on it. So a commitment I'll make after this is to look at those, and we'll look to proactively engage with you and the partners again on this piece. Just share what our priorities list looks like today, and how we may be able to work together to potentially influence some of that.
Yeah, great. So we've got your details on here. So
yeah, I'm on paul.north@zeninternet.co.uk, but we've also got your details there, and my door's open any time to have a conversation about these things.
Great. Another question's come through about are we planning to launch any more altnets? So yes is the answer. MS3 is the deal that we signed. So we mentioned that before. So that will be a new footprint for our partners. But it would be fair to say that we set off on our ambition last year to become the altnet aggregator of choice in the channel. That remains today as important as it was last year when we launched it. So what I would say, we're having many conversations with various altnets at various stages, but I'm absolutely confident before the end of the year, as you'll see, other altnets within the Fibre Hub.
Yeah, absolutely. I think our ambition is still to launch a minimum of 3 this year. We've got MS3 as one of those. I think interestingly as well, there's been a little bit of change recently, as I'm sure you might have seen in the press. So there's been a little bit of consolidation, some big news, particularly around NetOmnia as an example. I think one of the big benefits is that through our partnership with Freedom Fibre and the recent consolidation with TrueSpeed, is that we'll have access to that footprint in the not too distant future as well, which will almost double the ready for service properties that are available there. So that'll be a kind of a real nice addition to the portfolio. But I think for us, we go through quite a stringent qualification criteria for altnets when we're comparing them. I mean, there's things around API. It's not just RFS. There's API capability. There's maturity of the wholesale model as well, and how we can make sure we can build it into the Zen proposition. So I think in terms of, Dave Barber leads that, who's well known across our channel, and is often in conversations alongside our CEO Richard Tang as well. But with some of them, there's a bit of a longer qualification period required, I think is fair.
Yeah, for sure. So in summary, watch the space.
Yeah, watch the space.
Right.
And hopefully we'll have more to talk about at the event.
Partner event, for sure.
Yeah.
There is a question here. We mentioned the plan for us to launch this ability for partners to move bases in. So the question is specifically, does that mean we don't need to send PPP OE details anymore? So yeah, I mean, we'll share the technical specification of how that will work, but you're absolutely right. So we'd authenticate based on CSID as opposed to PPP OE. So that's the plan. But yeah, similarly to the last answer, is watch this space, and there'll be more details about that over the coming months.
Yeah.
There's another question about a specific altnet, so I can't mention today the altnets that we're talking to, and also your question is anonymous, so I can't come and chat to you separately, so feel free to drop your name in there. But I think that's all of the questions. So I suppose last call for questions. I'll hand to you for a bit of a roundup if you want, Paul.
Yeah, of course.
So
yeah, sure.
I'll see if any others come through.
Yeah, okay. So I guess, yeah, as a bit of a roundup there, once again, thanks for making the time to join this. Really do appreciate it. I think, yeah, our mission remains unchanged in terms of being the UK's altnet leading aggregator of choice. We are on a mission there. We've been very proactive, I think, in terms of the engagement we've had with partners in making the most of that opportunity. Again, really encourage you to come forward, make use of that data that we have available to. There's a lot of rich data and insight there. Our marketing team are really keen to work on what those kind of co-branded or collaborative campaigns can look like. But it's not always just about the altnets as well. You know, we have a broad product portfolio. So I've mentioned Zen Cloud. As I say, it's a bit of a lesser known product. So if you'd like to understand more about that, then please do come forward. One of the Lee's portfolio team would be happy to talk to you about that. And yeah, we'll continue to make developments in the Ethernet space. I'm really excited about what the roadmap looks like this year. I think the fact that we've just rolled out 2 fantastic updates to the LLQT in the last 4 weeks shows the momentum that we have behind us. I think we're all very ambitious for 2026. It feels like a big year of change in the market. And yeah, we're here to support you.
Great. Thank you very much. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Mark. Take care. See you.
Thanks all. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.